We are live. Welcome, my friends. So, you may have seen my post earlier today. We're down to the line. 6 days until my book launches and officially goes live. If you've been following my journey, I started writing this book 4 years ago. And there have been so many twists and turns and bumps and all the things up to this point. So, I'm just like, pinch me, it's real. The book is being published, right? And as part of that, I do make a promise on the cover. It says, real, raw, she holds nothing back. And that's absolutely the truth. But the real, like, behind the scenes story is I couldn't have been as real or as raw as I am in this book if it weren't for my therapeutic writing coach, Isabel Lerma. So she is here today, and I'm so excited to introduce you. She and I met um, through a mutual coaching program. And of course, our personalities are really similar, and we became friends first. And through this process, I was like, Isabel, tell me more about what you do with the therapeutic writing, because I might need your help. And it turns out I really needed her help. So, Isabel, I would love to just have you introduce yourself and just share a little bit about your process.
Hi, everyone. My name is Isabel Lerma, and my company is called Lerma Words of Healing. And I am a therapeutic writing coach, and I invented a method I call the Lerma Therapeutic Writing Method. And this is really what Jessica and I did all throughout the process where we were working together. Um, and in basic steps, what I do is I help people figure out what it is that they want to create. And then we go look into the root experiences of their past and we transform it and transcend it, create into art that impacts the world, and uh, and get them to a state of realization, a state of gratitude. And that's really why this book is so beautiful and so honest and so raw, because Jessica really did pour her entire heart and soul into it, and she was so brave to do so because she really wanted to make an impact on the world. And I just loved working with her. Like from the first session, we were already in tears together because we knew we were on the birth of something so magical. And uh, and it was funny because I still remember it, the first time you wrote a testimonial about your book, right? And she was like, "But I don't have the book yet." And I'm like, "First, let's see, what is it that you really, what can you paint into words?" And I think that was really what was it, because her heart is so big, and how do you put everything into a few, in a few pages and have it be impactful? And so first we started with the testimonial, and I think that's when and some of these stories that did make it into the book, but I promised myself I'm not going to reveal too much because I want you all to go and buy the book. But there are just some root experiences that she wrote about from that first session that are in the book and are so moving and so powerful. So again, like, I want you guys to know that how hard she has worked, and how inspired I have been to watch her to do everything that she's done. And what's also been really great is from the beginning, and again, I credit this to our mentor, Dr. Trivedi. He always taught me protection, security, abundance. And that was what, Jessica really embodied in this book. Like we from the beginning, we were changing names, changing places, we wanted to make sure that we were going to follow all the HIPAA laws, but also that we were going to identify the emotion that propels the story forward without having to, bring anything to light that didn't need to be. And I think that's really what helps make this book so relatable to so many people. In fact, weirdly enough, every time I travel, and I've been doing a lot of traveling lately, I'm always next to someone who's in the medical field or a traveling nurse, and they're so excited about this book. And I've been like, "Oh, you got to get on, you got to go get this, we're launching." And so um, this really is a powerful book. I recommend that you buy at least 10 copies and give it out to all of your friends, even people who aren't in the healthcare field or nursing field. There's other professions that Jessica also wants to help, like the shit they don't tell you. And the conversations I've been having have been what you learn in school with all the student loans and all the years of medical practice. When you go into the hospital, it's only this much. There's so much more. And then people are telling me, why didn't they tell us? that this is what we could, we could look forward to, so we could be prepared. And that's what Jessica really did. She laid it all out. And by the way, there's still more. I know there's many books left that Jessica still wants to do. And so you guys are on the cusp. You guys are on the forefront of this amazing, amazing launch of this book. So, uh, like I said, run, get a bunch of copies and give it out, and connect with Jessica. She's amazing. So
Thanks, girl. Thank you so much. And really, it was like the writing of this book was like it ripped the band-aid off the wound, right? But then there's like this huge wound in my soul that I'm like, this story needs to be told. This hurt needs to be healed. And like she said, transcended, right? Like I had healing to do. And there were parts of this book that I just got stuck on because it was too hard. It was too painful. I was still very much in that wound. And that's what Isabel's process did, is it allowed me to look at the wound, to embrace it, to write about it from all angles, and to just really balance myself into a place of complete love and gratitude, to where I wouldn't want anything to have been differently because of the magic on the back end in my own life. And this is the gift that I want to give to nurses. I want nurses to be able to look at those wounds, those hurts that are ultimately caused by what we do every day in the profession, and be able to embrace them and to love them and to see the lesson in them, so that they are showing up feeling alive, fulfilled, and fully aligned, rather than burned out, exhausted, wearing the superhero, like badass, I can do it all cape, but then falling asleep at night, just like totally wiped out. And it doesn't need to be that way. And so, again, girl, thank you so much for your process. It has been absolutely instrumental to the final product of this book. There were some stories that I don't know that I would have ever healed from or been able to process through if it weren't for what you do. And
thank you so much.
yeah, girl, you're so welcome. I'm just curious to find out, like, if you could give us like a 60 to 90 second, like, mini story of what brought you to this point to create this type of writing. Because I know there's always like our mess becomes our message. So would you just share that with us?
Sure. I think what's different about my process is I don't tell you what to do. I know we're going to find it. My process is to unlock your process. Like, for example, if I just wanted to interject about the beta reader sessions, where we had a lot of nurses and a lot of people, even from different professions, coming to hear parts of the book for the first time, and how amazing that was, because the feedback that they gave. And one of them that came out of that was pause the hustle. If you don't know what that is, go buy the book so you can read about this, because it's amazing. But I remember they were asking for, well, we want a tool, we want a process. And, at the time you came to me and you're like, I'm not sure how to write about it. And I'm like, I don't know how to make it clear. And I said, and it was born out of, again, all of it was born out of from you. And it was a writing prompt where you said, pause the hustle. And I was like, yep, that's it. That's it. And you're like, but there's more to it than that. I'm like, I know, but we're gonna start there. So we created a writing prompt around pause the hustle, and we both wrote on it. And you were so, I mean, it was amazing, because that was the formulation of your process. And that ultimately became a huge chapter in the book. And in our last beta reader session, I'm so glad we decided to do that, by the way.
Me too.
We kind of unleashed that part of it, and people were just like, oh my God, this is so amazing. You're going to change lives. And it was just the perfect thing that came out of things that you and I never planned on this book, right? We didn't know that that was going to happen, but it just kind of revealed itself naturally. And again, it's because we were drawing from what was going on in your life currently. I said, what's happening right now? And then we go in the past and go, look, what's the root experience that connected to it? And once we unlock that, and we were able to transform and transcend it and look at it, like you said, from an objective and grounded space, then it unlocked, now this is where I'm ready to go. Because now everything led me, the whole path led me to be here right in this moment. And Pause the Hustle wouldn't have been born had you not gone through the things we wrote on first, right? And there were many, many days that, we'd have a deep dive session. And, I remember you'd be like, okay, Isabel, my brain's fried. But then a few minutes later, you'd be like, Isabel, you unlock something and then you tell me I wrote for 4 hours straight until my computer died. And it was just so amazing. You really, really were so committed. And I think that's what the biggest thing that I can say that your whole book talks about really is committing to yourself, committing to that vision and mission, and seeing the obstacles start to fall away as you put one foot in front of the other. And that's really what's amazing about this book, because yes, we had the other side where we were going a little bit on structure and outlining and the planning parts, but our deep dives were our free writing, our let's go look in the parts of your brain that maybe you hadn't looked at before. What are the memories that are still there that maybe you weren't even aware was still running those neural pathways, and showing up in your life currently to say, hey, I'm here, I need to be part of the book. you
Yeah,
know
so
and
true.
yeah, and it was that's why I was like, well, what's going on? Like whenever they're like, I'm stuck here, I'm like, okay, well, what's going on right now? And we had to deal with that first in
Hmm.
order to get to that next part of the book. There's still another part of the book. I think it also made it into the book where we were having a writing session and the dogs and the chickens were going crazy. And you're like, Isabel, oh my God, all this stuff is happening. And when you when you came back, I said, let's create a writing prompt around that. I said, handle this, handle what you're doing, and then let's go create a writing prompt on that. And you're like, what's this gonna have to do with writing a book about nursing? But I thank you so much for trusting me,
Hmm.
even in the parts that you're like, I don't know how this is going to connect, because we found a way how it connected, didn't we?
We
And
sure did.
yeah, and all these things were kind of like, unaware that we're reliving some of these root experiences that happened for us. And once you became aware of it, then you can like, oh, I love that. Okay, well, do I need this now or do I not? And so that's what's happening. And we weren't working on just the book. We were looking at all the areas of your life, how it supported it, how it challenged it, how you grew from it. And so I know this is more than 90 seconds, but I'm telling you, this is why I do what I do, because it's so much fun and I love it. And I love seeing the transformation, the transmutations. You
Hmm.
know, once a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, it can never go back. But it's the choice, the caterpillar doesn't know what it's like to fly, doesn't even know it's meant to fly. And they have to come and be kind of like cocoon themselves and get all gooey and like break up parts of themselves. And that's what you were willing to do, is go and
Yes.
look so
Yes.
that you can become this butterfly, and you are, know that you can fly. And so I'm so excited, like I said, to see your journey and what you're creating and how many lives you're going to impact with this book. And I know this book is needed, and we talked about that from the beginning. So this is my way, I think, of my process, helping authors go and do this. This is like I live for this. This is what I think I was meant to do, and so that's why I do it.
I couldn't agree more. Like, yeah, there were times when I literally was like, what the fuck is the point of this? And I'm like, but I paid her money because I trust her. So I can continue to trust her and follow the process, or I can think that I know better and waste my investment. But I'm really, really glad that I trusted the process and, wrote about dogs and chickens. And it ultimately connected back to like the air race crashes when I was in the ER. Like it was just so incredible how like just trusting the process, even though there were times where I'm like, WTF are we doing? Right? It was amazing.
No, yes, and that's what sometimes my process is to trick the brain. I can
Hmm.
tell sometimes when, and you were so honest and raw with me that
Hmm.
helped me so much. So I could tell when, okay, this is going to be a heavy subject. This is going to be kind of a little, there's a bit of resistance. So I would throw something to get you out of your head. But I knew it was still connected. But I didn't know how to explain that to you. I said, like, just write on this because I know it's going to unlock it. And once I found it, because it always comes from you. It doesn't come from me. All of the prompts really came from you. And the prompts aren't the important thing. It's the connection that we do afterwards. It's the writing that we come afterwards. So again, it's what made it really unique. Another chapter kind of popped up in my head. I'm not sure that made it all the way into the book, but I know a little part of it was. But it was when we were looking for the root of an addiction, and
Yep.
we found a happy moment. People think that we're only writing about all these, you know, tragic things that happened, but no, we were also writing on the positive moment because I knew that there was a connection to the root of that addiction. And when we found that and we wrote on it, you wrote about you found it your addiction. It was kind of the root of the addiction to feeling whole, and then filling that hole. And then you talked about sugar being an addiction is to fill
Yep.
that hole in the book. And again, I'm not saying anymore because you got to go buy the book, and it's such a powerful chapter, and it's filled with gold nuggets. So again, like we had to go through those stories first in order to unlock that. And so I don't know how to explain that to people. I'll be like, you know what, we're gonna find it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna create it because you've already been creating it. It's like, but how do you draw from all of this source that you've got with all of these ideas and actually condense it from your head down to your hands? And so that's what's cool about the process is that I know as long as you promise to show up and you write and you can, park your disbelief for 5 minutes at a time and just allow it, we're gonna find it. And but you got to do the work, and you are the one that's gonna let it in. I can't force it, right? I can
That's
only
true.
do so much. So yes, so your investment in yourself, I'm glad that also pushed you in the times where you're like, I don't know how this is gonna work out, and I don't know what the connection is. But whatever it was, you're like, you know what, you're right. I invested, I'm going to show up, and I'm gonna trust and see. And every single time you found it. And this is the result. This is the birth of your beautiful baby, your first book baby.
That's
First of
right.
many more.
That's right. That's right. Awesome. Well, Isabel, thank you so much for partnering with me in this book, for just being an incredible part of the process, and for creating so much healing within me as I learned to truly fall in love with my story so that I could leverage it to help other people be in love with their story. And I'm really excited for this book, which I'll share with you guys just a fun nugget. I have no idea where it's going to go, but at my networking meeting last week, I met two physicians in my local area that have private nursing schools. And I was like, oh, I just wrote this book and they want to partner with me. They want me to come into their schools. We're kicking around creating a like an emotional governance curriculum to add to what they've already got going for their nursing students. So you just never know, like when you heal your story and when you share your story with a heart of wanting that same healing for others, you just never know what doors are going to be open. So I don't know where that's going to go yet, but y'all heard it first right here on Facebook with Isabel and I, and we can't wait to see you at the launch. It's on this coming Saturday, the 27th. We are starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. If you haven't registered yet, you're not going to want to miss it. So go ahead and register. And if you're already registered, make sure you share it with friends. I'm going to post the link in the comments of the post here. And Isabel, if you want to post a way for people to get a hold of you too in the comments, that would be amazing.
Yes, and I wanted to announce also for anyone who is a part of Jessica's community, you all get a free discovery call with me. And if and only if you're from Jessica's community and you mention you're coming from Jessica's community, you get $1,000 off your own one-on-one writing package, therapeutic writing package. It doesn't have to be for writing a book. If you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a musician, an artist, anyone of that sort who is looking to create something that you haven't yet, that's something maybe blocking you, have been struggling on figuring out what are the blocks that's keeping me from actually stepping into this. Is it a fear of success? Is it a fear of what people are going to think or disapproval? What is it?
Mm-hmm.
So let's figure that out and write on it. It's probably exactly what you needed to write on in order to create what you wanted to create anyway. So without further ado, again, learnmorewordsofhealing.com. I will be posting all the ways to get a hold of me. And again, thank you, Jessica. So humbly proud of you. And I'm so grateful for you being in my life. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I wish you all the best.
Thanks,
And see you
girl.
at the
All
launch.
right, we'll see y'all at the launch. Bye, friends.